Clara, you've got some serious explaining to do right now. I mean, what is up with this lunch you packed me? Are you trying to starve me to death or something? Besides, isn't this just leftovers from yesterday's dinner? Glad to know you care enough about me to cook me something fresh.
Oh, Ryan, I really am sorry about that. I was just so busy this morning, I hardly had any time to make something fresh for you.
You're telling me that you're a housewife who can't even do the most basic of duties for her husband?
Ryan, I really don't think that you're being fair to me right now. I mean, just think about everything that happens in the morning. First, I have to go and wake up our children, get them out of bed, and make food for them. Not to mention everything else I have to get ready for them, and you, before you all go out for the day.
There you go. So you admit that it's your job to get everything ready for us before we leave, and yet you just chuck last night's scraps into a Tupperware and try to pass it off as making me lunch? It's not like you're even doing anything in the daytime. I don't get why you can't just make me something different then. Surely you have some time to do that while the kids are at school, right?
Well, maybe I could if we split up the housework just a little bit more.
And why in the world would I do something like that, huh? You know that I go to work to put food on our table and keep the roof over our head, right?
Of course I know that, and I really am grateful for all that you do for us. But can we at least acknowledge that I'm having to do all of the housework and child rearing all by myself, right?
Well, duh. That's kind of what being a housewife means. You really want special treatment for that?
So you're saying that I don't have any right to ask for help at all? That's why you think you can just order me around like this?
Man, you just are full of stupid things to say today, aren't you? I'm asking you to do the bare minimum when it comes to providing for your family. You're the one asking me to do more work on top of already going to a full-time job where I do provide for my family.
Well, what about the stuff with the kids? Surely we could split that up just a little more evenly, don't you think? After all, you are their father. They're your kids too, you know. Don't you think you should be trying to spend more time with them and doing more for them?
I watch over them now and then, don't I?
Honestly, you barely even do that. Anytime I ask you to watch the kids so that I can do the shopping or something, you just sit there and play on your phone. And even this last time when I asked you to watch Bridget, you were asleep when I got back. How can you say that you watch the kids when your eyes aren't even on them in the first place?
Oh, wow. So I guess I'm not allowed to feel tired or fall asleep anymore? Is that what you're telling me? You? Who just sits around the house doing nothing all day until we all get back from school and work? You've got some nerve talking to me like this.
I don't do nothing all day and you know it, Ryan. I don't get what's happened with you. You used to cook dinner for the family and you used to love spending time with the kids. You even used to help me clean up around the house.
That was way, way early in our marriage. Which is to say that it was when you were a lot prettier than you are now. But now all you do is nag at me and try to kill me with your horrible, lousy cooking.
Well, if you think that I'm the only one that's gotten older, you might want to go and look in a mirror.
That's exactly what I'm talking about when I say that you're always nagging me. You really think you're making things better for yourself when you talk to me like that?
Oh, please. I'm only saying what you're saying to me. Don't be a jerk.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot that I'm always the bad guy and every little thing is always my fault, isn't it?
I don't even remember what we were talking about, but you should know that I'm really starting to reach my limit with you. You have no idea how hard it is to take care of you and the kids all at the same time.
Take care of me? Did you really just say that you're doing that for me? You really are delusional if you think that's what's going on.
And what about cooking for you all the time, or any other thing you order me around to do? It's not like you don't know how to do these things either. You're just too lazy to do anything yourself.
Well, I've already told you that I work and that's why I don't have time for any of that. You're the one with all the free time on your hand and that's why you do all of that. Don't you know anything about being a housewife? Oh, what am I talking about? Of course you don't.
There you go, trying to put me down all the time. Why do you always do this, huh?
Oh, please. I'm not doing anything. You're just being way too sensitive. The fact of the matter is that the housewife does the work in the house. That's how it works. Don't try and drag me into doing your work for you just because you're too lazy to do anything yourself.
You just really don't seem to get it, do you?
What I get is that I've let you get away with whatever you want. Do you have any idea how many people are in our same positions and don't complain about it? Anyways, I'm gonna go out and buy some lunch for myself, if you don't have anything else to say to me.
Well, what about the food that I packed for you?
Yeah, that's all sitting in the trash can right now. Next time, actually put some effort into what you make for me. Got it?
Well, either way, we're still not done here. I still have things that I want to say.
Well, I don't have any more time that I can waste on you. You've already taken up enough time of my lunch break. A few weeks later.
Hey, Ryan, what time do you think you're going to be home today?
I'm gonna be home late. Got a problem with that?
No, but do you mind if I ask why? Are you doing overtime or something like that?
No, I'm out eating right now. And I'm having some beer with my meal too. Have anything to say about that?
Wait a second. You're out right now? But I told you that I had a cold, didn't I? I really would like to rest.
I know you're sick. That's why I'm going out. You probably haven't even cooked anything for us to eat, have you?
Well, I actually just fed the kids their dinner, and there's plenty left here for you too.
Oh, I see. Well, whatever. Why would I go home when I might catch whatever you have? You really are clueless sometimes. Do you know that?
But I haven't had a chance to rest at all. I've been awake all day, and I'm only putting the kids to bed now.
Well, then go and do that. Why don't you go to bed yourself while you're at it?
Ryan, I thought you said that you were going to come home early tonight.
And why would I even bother coming home when all you do is ask me to do stuff around the house if I do? Huh? You wish that I would come home early, but it's not gonna happen.
Ryan, please. My fever is really, really high. I feel absolutely terrible right now.
Oh, please. It's just a little cold. Calm down. Everyone gets them. You're not that special. Just take some medicine and go to bed. You'll be fine. Besides, I've gone to work with a fever all the time and nothing bad ever happened.
Did you really do that? You just don't care about anyone but yourself, do you? I just want to spend some time resting at home. Is that really so bad?
Which is basically your way of telling me that you want me to do everything around the house for you when I come back from work, isn't it?
Please, Ryan. If you just help me out a little, I promise that I would get better quickly.
You know, the whole reason why I tell you to work is for your own good. Besides, if I did all the work that you do for me, what would even be the point of having you around?
What do you mean? Please tell me that you're not being serious about that.
I mean, what is even the point of having a housewife who is barely a wife and barely does anything around the house? You think I wanted to marry some shut-in who complains about every single little sniffle?
You mean that you only want me in your life so that I can take care of our kids and clean up after your messes?
You really are thick sometimes. You know that? How many times are you going to make me say that the housework and child rearing are your job? What is even the point of having you around if I'm going to have to explain to you over and over and over again? Just think about it. Why in the world would I want to be married to someone who didn't do everything that I ordered them to?
But then, what's even the point? Is that really the whole reason you and I are even married in the first place?
And she finally gets it. Maybe now, you can finally take the next step of doing your work without me having to tell you all the time. And staying healthy is a part of your job too, you know. You really think the whole world's just gonna stop just for you?
Well, I think that I might have gotten whatever this is from Bridget, and I think that someone from her school gave it to her.
Yeah. You can't blame your husband for this one, so you blame your kids instead. I'm glad you have enough time to think of all these excuses. Anyways, can we finally be done with this stupid conversation now?
Ryan, aren't you even worried about me? I feel really awful.
Are you going to die? Is this cancer? Are you on fire? No? Then knock this woe is me crap off.
How can you act like this when all I'm asking for is a little help? I mean, isn't that what husbands and wives are supposed to do? We're supposed to be there for each other. Besides, you said that you were going to come home early when I told you that I was sick. You said that you were going to watch the kids for me. Don't you remember that? I don't think you've ever done a single thing for me in my entire life.
Are you really getting this upset just because I don't care that you have a head cold? You really are just not going to let this go, are you?
I can't believe that you're treating me like this. You're horrible. Do you know that?
You're really starting to piss me off. Do you know that? Give me a break already. You need to open your eyes and realize just how lucky you have it. I would have never married you if I had known that you were just going to sit in my house, eat my food, use my money, and then have the nerve to not ever do anything for me. How about you try making as much money as I do, and then try to talk to me? 3 months later.
Okay, Ryan. You and I are going to talk about what's going to happen from here on out.
What in the world are you going on about now, huh? What is it this time?
I am sick and tired of the way things are, and I am not going to stand for this anymore. You never do anything around the house, and you always make fun of me. And on top of all that, you hardly ever spend any time with the kids, too.
So let me guess. You're about to tell me that I have to do all the work around the house from now on? You really have some nerve, you uppity housewife. I thought I'd already told you don't have any right to complain until you make as much as me.
Oh, I remember. That's exactly why we're having this conversation right now, actually. As of this month, I make more money than you do, Ryan, and that is why I want to get a divorce from you.
Wait, what? Did you hit your head or something? What are you talking about? You don't make more money than me. I mean, you're too busy taking care of the house and kids to be able to even find time to work.
Well, I worked hard to make time, so what do you think about that then, huh? But I never stopped doing the work that I was doing. I just made time by cutting back on my sleep. And for the past 3 months, I've been working hard at studying how to make money. And all my hard work is finally paid off.
You mean that in the last 3 months, you've managed to learn enough to find a job that earns more than mine does? You're such a liar. It isn't even funny anymore.
Are you sure about that? I would always send you a copy of my pay stub if you don't believe me. Then you'll see that I'm not lying. What do you think about that?
So then, you really do have a job now?
That's what I'm telling you. And you did say that all I had to do was make as much as you, right? And then you would finally listen to what I had to say to you.
Okay. Hold on just 1 minute. I don't know what you're up to right now, but we're going to talk about this at home.
I'm afraid that we won't be doing that, actually. I'm leaving the house today, and I'm never coming back.
Clara, please, just calm down so we can talk about this a little, okay?
Oh, I am very calm. And the fact of the matter is that we are getting divorced, and there is nothing that you can do about it.
But divorce is serious. We need to talk about this before just deciding to do it. Please, let's just talk about this when I get back home.
There really isn't anything to talk about at all.
Okay. I get that maybe I was leaving a bit too much of the housework for you to do by yourself.
That isn't even a conversation to be had. It's just the truth. And no matter how hard I tried to explain that to you, you wouldn't listen.
Clara, please. You can't do this to me. Are you really just gonna go? Hold on. I'm gonna come back home right now. Just please wait there for me, okay? A few days later.
Ryan, I want you to hurry up and sign those divorce papers that I sent you.
You mean you still really want to go through with this? What about the kids?
Now you want to talk about the kids? Give me a break. You want to try and fight me for custody? Well, good luck with that. I can't think of a single judge that would ever entrust the kids with you after I tell them how you never did anything for them.
You're right. I've been so mean to you. But it's not going to happen again. So, please, just come back.
Ryan, you really just don't get it, do you? It's over. We're going to get divorced, and there's nothing you can do about it.
But why? I already told you that I'd spend more time with the kids and help you out around the house. What more do you want from me? Whatever you want, I'll do it. Just please don't leave me.
You were so helpful when we had our first child, but when we had our second, it was like you lost all interest. Not just in being with them, but in doing anything around the house. And you put it all on me, bit by bit. Instead, it was like I was raising 3 kids all by myself.
But I only asked you to do what I thought you would be able to do.
How can you say that when I told you over and over again that I was struggling with everything that I was doing? I told you all the time that I couldn't handle the housework and taking care of the kids, and that I just wanted a little help. And instead, you just put me down, accused me of making up excuses or faking sickness. You acted like you were king of the world, all because the work you did was outside the house. Well, it's too late to fix it. I've made up my mind and nothing is going to change it no matter what.
Please, don't do this. Don't say that.
You don't have any more power over me. No matter what you say, what you offer to do, it isn't going to change what's going to happen. I've hated living with you, and now I am going to end this. I am finally going to be free of you.
Clara, please don't do this. I didn't mean to push you so hard. It's just that the stress of the job was getting to me. I was just jealous of you because you got to stay at home.
And that's only because you got it in your head that I wasn't doing anything at home. Even though I told you all the time about all that I was doing, you just weren't listening to me.
And I shouldn't have done that, and I realize that now. Please, you have to come back. The house is filthy, and there's no one here to clean it. Now I finally realize all that you were doing for us.
No one to clean the house? Aren't you forgetting about someone? As in, yourself?
But I never noticed how much you did because you always made sure that the house was clean before I got home. And I hate being so far away from my kids, too. Every time I come home, there's no one here. It's so lonely.
If you ask me, I think you deserve it.
But how am I supposed to live without you? Please, I promise to never treat you poorly again. It won't ever happen. You have to believe me.
Even the children say that they don't want to see you anymore. So if you're just going to keep begging me to come back like the pathetic worm that you are, I think that we're done here.
You mean you're just gonna leave me like this? Please, I still have so much to talk to you about it. You can't do this to me.
I'll say one more thing to you and that's it. Sign the divorce papers or else I'm going to get lawyers involved and it won't get pretty. After that, I didn't call a lawyer, but I did call Ryan's parents as well as my own and explain to them what I'd been going through and why I was divorcing Ryan. At first, his parents didn't believe me, but after I showed them the text that he would send me, they support my decision fully. They called Ryan and shouted at him to sign the papers and quit dragging the process out. During the divorce proceedings, I made sure that I got full custody of the children and that Ryan would have to pay child support. He begged me to at least give him visiting rights, and I told him that I would think about it, but that I needed time. I moved back into my parents' house with my children and continued with my online job. I actually wasn't making as much money as I told Ryan, but I had a pay stub that included a bonus that was enough to convince him I was making more than him. After my months of working in secret, however, I was also busy completing training modules and told that I was up for a big promotion. That was when I knew it was time to leave Ryan. Soon, I'll move us out to a place of our own. But for now, I am enjoying having the help with my children from my parents, just like they're enjoying getting to be so close to their grandchildren. And I, of course, am making sure we're not too much of a burden on them. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.
Hey there, Ken. Are you there? I was just curious if now is a good time to talk. I just wanted to make sure whether or not you were already on your way to the preschool right now. Because I asked you to go and pick up Pearl from there, remember?
Wait a second. You wanted me to do that again? Yeah, I really don't think that's gonna work for me. I mean, I'm still busy with work, so I just won't be able to go to the preschool at all.
Oh, right. Well, I was just wondering if you might have asked for time off to go and get her.
Well, why is she needing to be picked up right now? Don't tell me that she broke out in another fever.
That's what the school is saying, yeah. The teachers there took her temp and they told me it was sitting just above 100.
Oh, wow. Well, that is just a big high, especially for a little girl. But maybe it's one of those colds that just incubates and gets worse in children before it can spread to adults.
Yeah, I think I remember reading somewhere that that's what would happen with smallpox was still a thing.
Well, diseases really are just a completely different life form with different rules from us. But anyways, I really can't afford to get sick right now. Things are really busy in the office, and my boss just talked about how we need all hands on deck right now.
Right. Well, I guess if that's the case, then I'll go and pick Pearl up. And I suppose I'll also have to take her to the doctor as well, won't I? I'll let you know what I hear from them after they've examined her later today, okay?
Sure thing. This really is pretty worrying. I mean, it seems like she's getting a cold every day at this point. Do you ever wonder if Pearl's just really weak? Like as a person?
I don't know. The teachers seem to think that this is a pretty normal for children who are her age, but on the smaller side. And besides, you know that there's always something going around preschools with how dirty children can be. So I guess we really shouldn't be too surprised at all this, but still, we should think of ways to protect Pearl. Either way, the point is that right now she is getting too sick too often and something has to be done.
I know. Especially if her getting sick all the time is going to eat into her parents' schedules as much. I didn't think we'd already be going to a doctor so often.
Well, I suppose that we really just don't have much of a choice in the matter. After all, she's our daughter. We have to do this. Besides, it hasn't eaten into your schedule at all. I'm always the one having to take off work early to go and pick Pearl up, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I know. But of course you would. Your office is much closer to her school than mine is, after all. Besides, you said that your boss is much more supportive of working parents and having to leave for stuff like this. It's not like I don't want to go and pick Pearl up. It's just that it works out better if you do it, right?
Okay, well, yes, my boss may be understanding of the circumstances, but I also have work that I need to do and deadlines that I need to meet. So I really, really would appreciate it if you could go and pick Pearl up from time to time.
And I'm telling you that my office would not let something like that fly at all. I don't care how sick she was. I just wouldn't be able to get the time off. My boss isn't like yours. He's not about to let me go and put my daughter before the company. Especially because he knows I'm married. He would just tell me to make you do it anyways.
Wow. Well, it sounds to me like your boss is stuck in the past and really needs a wake-up call.
Well, it's not like he's wrong. I do have a wife much closer to my daughter and in a better position to take off work to go get her.
That's fine, but it's not like I can just take off work whenever I feel like it. I'm still using my time off and I'm still inconveniencing my coworkers by always being away from the office.
Well, have you thought about taking off the maternity leave that you never used?
I've talked to my boss about it before, and she says that it would mean she would have to move some personnel around, but that it would be possible.
I see. And if you did that, then what would happen to your salary?
I would take about 6 months of time off and only get paid half of what my salary is.
So you would only get paid half of what you're making now, huh? It really would be a pain if we had to tighten our budget anymore.
But I really don't think that I'll take the time off. I mean, it's not so bad taking off early to pick Pearl up. I just won't ask you to do this anymore, and I'll handle it all myself.
Well, hold on a second. Let's think about this. If you did take that much time off of work, then you could always make sure the house was clean.
Well, I think I do a pretty good job of that while working right now, so...
I know, but I'm saying as it is right now, I have to help you take care of the house, right? I'm always helping you cook and clean and that sort of stuff. But if you took off work and basically just became a housewife for 6 months, then I wouldn't have to do any of that, right? I would just go to work and come home to a clean house and dinner.
It is true that we both work to keep the house clean and running. That is true. I'm sorry if you have some kind of problem with my cooking, though. When it's my turn to cook, I usually just go for something simple since I'm tired from work.
That's my whole point. You could take this time to really improve your cooking and laundry skills and stuff like that. Besides, to be honest, I really do think you need to step it up in the kitchen.
So then, you're telling me that you do want me to take time off work after all?
After this discussion, it really sounds to me like we really can't afford not to do that at this point. But don't worry, I'll be sure to take care of you. Hey there, Clara. Just wanted to let you know that I got off work now. Ugh, I'm so sick of having to work all the overtime. It really is killing me. Do you know that?
Well, I'm glad that you finally were able to finish for the day. It seems that they really have been keeping you busy as of late.
Well, that's easy for you to say when you don't have anything going on at all. A housewife's life must be so easy. All you do is eat and sleep.
What in the world are you talking about, Ken? I don't take naps while you're away at work, you know.
Okay, fine. But at least you're not having to work as hard as I am at my job. You're at home, surrounded by all our stuff, just able to do whatever you want. Man, I really wish that I could just walk away from work and hang out at home doing nothing all day. You have no idea how jealous I am of you.
Well, it just goes to show how little you know of what I actually do around the house every day. I mean, do you have any idea how hard it is to keep everything clean, do all the laundry, and still keep up with Pearl? I barely have time to catch my breath.
Okay, but come on, Clara. You're not about to really say that being a housewife is more challenging than working full-time, right? I mean, you're unemployed. You've got no real responsibilities. You're living the easy life and you're complaining about it?
If you don't think that I have any responsibilities at home, then you really don't know what you're talking about at all. Even I didn't think that it would be this difficult, but you basically have to work around everyone's schedules, and it's like I'm on the clock all the time. Honestly, by the time you get home, I am just exhausted. It really would be nice if you did just a little more around the house.
And you don't think that I'm not just as tired, if not more, from working all day? You're at the house, so you take care of the house. That's the deal. I mean, isn't that why you took all the time off work to begin with?
Yeah, that was the plan, but the least you could do is help me out on the weekends. You don't do anything around the house, and you hardly spend any time with Pearl either. You know, sometimes I wonder if she even sees you as her dad at this point.
Hold on a second. Are you really asking me to sacrifice my precious time off so that I could do your job for you? I'm going out to the office every day earning money so that we can have a roof over our head and food on our table. But I guess that just still isn't enough for you, is it?
I'm just saying that if you want me to do all the work around the house, even after you get home from work, then the least you could do is spend more time with our daughter. You're her father, for crying out loud. You can't just ignore her, you know. I mean, even when I was working, you would still help me out with Pearl when I felt bad or was stuck in bed from period cramps. What happened to that father of the daughter that I used to know?
That was then and this is now. Don't compare the two, okay? I am not as free as I used to be and I have more work now. You don't know my schedule, so don't talk to me like you do, okay? You're just trying to get me to earn all the money and do all the work around the house, aren't you?
Excuse me, Ken, but what happened to you to bring about all this change? I mean, you never used to be this bad about helping me out when I asked for it. You used to love spending time with Pearl. Now you just act like you're so great just for being a working husband and father to a child.
Well, I am great. That's why I know what's best for the family. You do nothing but eat away at my paycheck anyways.
Well, you do know that this rest from work was only ever going to be temporary, you know? I only took time off so that I could keep an eye on our daughter and make sure that she was doing okay. So are you still going to talk to me like this when I'm working again?
I'm just saying that obviously the most important job you can do for a family is to earn money. If we didn't have money, then you and Pearl wouldn't have a place to live. So, from that logic, it's quite easy to see how it's obvious that I'm the most important person in the family. And I don't need to take any back talk from some unemployed housewife like you.
Unemployed housewife? Is that what you just called me? Do you really think that you can boss us around just because you're working?
Of course I do. That's what I've been saying this whole time. Are you only just starting to get it now? It's high time I claimed my stake as the center of this family. And it's important that our daughter recognizes that this is how a man who takes care of his family acts. Now quit acting so selfishly or else I'll have to punish you for it.
You are just ridiculous. You're the one acting like a complete child right now. And just how do you think you're going to punish me? You really think that anyone believes this is all for Pearl? It's clearly all just for your ego.
Well, I decided that from here on out, I am done spoiling you and Pearl. I'm going to become a much more strict husband and father and run this house like a boot camp.
And you really think that that's what's going to be best for Pearl? You think people are going to want to come over and play with her if her father is like that?
I don't care if no one comes over to play. We don't need others coming to our family affairs anyways. Besides, everyone knows that playtime is for the weak. Every successful person now never had any playtime when they were little.
Just where in the world did you read such a ridiculous thing? Do you really believe that? Is that how you see the world?
Look, the point is that I'm the most important in this house and that I make the rules for you and Pearl to follow. Okay? As long as you remember that, we'll be okay.
Ken, what's up with our room? Why is it such a mess? What is you doing here?
Ugh! Are you kidding me? I had just finally gotten to sleep and now your messages are keeping me up. And just where were you anyways, huh?
I told you yesterday that I was going to go to my parents' house. Don't you remember me saying that to you?
Well, you spent way too much time over there. Why didn't you come home in time to make us dinner, huh? What's the matter with you?
Well, then I had to go out again and take Pearl to the doctor because she broke out with another fever. And just what is wrong with me going out of the house anyways, huh? I mean, it was only a few hours in total. Besides, you still haven't told me why the house is such a mess. I was barely gone and it's a disaster.
Well, whatever. I'm going to the casino. Don't bother me again until the house is spotless. Got it?
What are you talking about? I just want to know why our house is such a mess. I mean, there's cans all over the floor. Did you drink while I was out or something like that?
And so what if I did have a couple of drinks, huh? You got a problem with that?
I do if you drank a bunch and are now going to the casino, yes. I mean, I don't care if you do go now and then, but you've been going almost every day and you've lost big more than once. Don't you see that you're wasting all our money? You know that we don't have incomes anymore, right? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that if I'm the only one making money around here, then that means it's all mine, and I should be able to spend it however I want.
I really can't believe that you're acting this way. You're just horrible. Do you know that? I mean, I really just don't even know how to deal with you while you're being like this. But if you made this mess in our house, then I am not going to clean it up for you. I am not a maid. I am your wife. And besides, I have more important things to do, like being here for our daughter in the hospital.
You really have some nerve talking to me like that. You don't even work and you think you can boss me around like you bring any money in?
Why is that always your first line of attack? Why is it always about the money with you? I mean, you keep saying that you're working for the good of the family, but can't you see that what I'm doing is for the good of the family too? Why does it have to be all about rank and position and who's the most important person in the house, huh?
You really just don't get it at all, do you? Of course it's all about the money. It's always been about the money. And how you both are always spending my money like you think it's yours.
Your money? You really need a wake-up call if you think that we're spending your money, Ken. I mean, I didn't want to have to say this way, but the fact is that you just don't make enough to take care of all of us.
Excuse me? What did you just say to me? Did you really just send that message? You've got some nerve. Do you know that?
Well, I'm only trying to clarify some misconceptions that you seem to be under right now. Because the fact is that I have not been living off the money that you've been making through your job.
What does that even mean? Just where have you been getting your money from then? Huh?
Did you really think that you were our only hope to survive, Ken? Did you really think that you were supporting a family of 3 with your tiny salary? Thankfully for me, before we started dating, I had already saved up a lot of money that I put away in a savings account. And that is the money that I've been living off of. I've really only been using the money that you bring in to make payments on the car and pay for Pearl's preschool.
You're a liar. You're lying and I know it. You really think that I'm just gonna fall for that nonsense?
I'm afraid that I'm not lying at all. You've been putting all the work at home on me, including the budget. That means that I know exactly how much everything costs and where the money comes from. But now that I think about it, you've never had any time to live on your own and figure this out, huh?
Well, that's because I was living with my parents before we got married. But there's nothing wrong with how much money I make. I earn the average of what someone doing my job does.
That may be true, but you have to factor in your age as well. And the fact of the matter is that you're way behind other people your age. Of course that makes sense, considering you. You hardly seem to have any ambition and seem like you don't mind at all doing the same job forever. But meanwhile, everyone else who you got hired with has been promoted or moved on to a better job. You're the only one still working basically the same position that you started at in your company.
Shut up! You don't know what you're talking about. Not everything is about promotions and positions and money, you know. I just have my own way of doing things.
You say that, but how is that way of doing things going for you when all your colleagues have already surpassed you? I bet many of them are married and have children too, so you can't use us as an excuse.
Oh, just shut up already. You don't know what you're talking about. I like my job and I like what I do. But if I wanted, I could get promoted like it was nothing. And all that would mean is that I get a little bit more money for a lot more work, and I don't want that.
Well, I suppose everyone does have their own style of doing things, but I just hope that you realize that you shouldn't be bragging so much about how much you make. After all, you do know that when I was working, even I was making more money than you, right? I knew that I was going to have to dip into my savings for us to make ends meet the moment we decided that I would stop working for a bit. But you just thought that you could lord working over me like I was doing nothing for the family.
Well, you should have talked to me about all of this earlier. Why have you been so quiet about all this until just now? If I wasn't making enough money for you, then I'll just work harder and earn more.
You shouldn't have to wait for me to tell you to do that before you do. I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to hurt your pride and because I saw how hard you were working. But the moment I stopped working, you let all of it go to your head, and it's been downhill since then.
But, I really had no idea at all. Please, I really thought that I was just being logical and suggesting it.
Well, I hope that you can see that I was the one keeping this family afloat with the money that I was earning. I suppose I'll be happy as long as you can say that you've learned your place. Either way, I'm not going to keep wasting my savings supporting the three of us anymore. Instead, I am going to take Clara, and we are going to leave you.
Wait, what? You can't just take my child and leave? That's illegal or something, isn't it?
If you really think so, then why not go ask any judge? Either way, we're still getting divorced, but have a nice life. After that, I followed through on my word, hired a lawyer, and began the divorce process with Ken. I had held on to hope that Ken would settle down, that he would finally put his ego in check, but he just kept pushing me until I couldn't take it. Of course, once he knew the truth about where most of our money was coming from, he begged me not to leave him. In one last desperate move, he begged his boss for a raise, but his boss told him that he really hadn't done much to deserve anything. That's when Ken started trying to take credit for the work that his colleagues had done. When his boss realized what he was doing, however, he fired him on the spot. With nowhere else to go and a divorce underway, Ken had to quickly find another job and moved into a tiny apartment. As one final act of mercy to the man that I once loved, I didn't even ask Ken to pay child support for Pearl. I told him that I would have more than enough money to take care of the two of us and that he needed the money more than we did. After the divorce, I took Pearl and we moved to a new city to be closer to my parents, who helped take care of Pearl for me while I'm at work at my new job. I asked my company for a transfer to an office closer to where we moved to and was able to start right away. I'm going to take some time adjusting to being a single mother, but I'm glad that I have a supportive family and network of friends willing to be there for me and help me through it. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.